Good morning from Fly Fishing Mythbusters. This is called a comparadun. It's a very simple fish to fly. It imitates a mayfly, and it's very low on the water, which is really a good thing because it imitates a stage of the mayfly. It's called the imago. The imago is a mayfly that is broken through the surface of the water, come up from the bottom. It has shed its exoskeleton and it's drifting along the water waiting for its wings to dry, and it's the most vulnerable time in its lifetime, right? Because the trout key in on the imago. And I was fishing in the Firehole River not long after I got my first tying lessons, and I wasn't catching anything, even though there were hundreds of these floating on the water and the fish were just picking them off. A few yards down was an older fisherman and he was catching fish. And I had to go down and say, what am I doing wrong? And he said, because I had a yellow comparadun on, and he says, there's just not enough green in that. And so I went back, put my vise on the picnic table, and I blended some green with some yellow, and it's in these things, these kits that you get. I blended those two. Let's come back into focus, Mom. Maybe I will. Tied it up, and soon I was catching fish. Boy, that's gonna stay blurry. Now, that post, the wing, if you will, helps you to see the fly and distinguish it from all the others. But it's also where you can add floatant. The comparadun sits very low in the water, which I think is a very good thing. It's not, it's a dry fly, but it isn't sitting completely on top like an insect that would have come back to the water. And the only fly I will put floatant on is this fly. Now that wing is this, is the same poly yarn I make my indicators out of. And I'm gonna get out of magnification here. And so this is silicone grease. I figured this out because they sell you this at pool stores to be able to put on your O-rings, and silicone grease has a few special properties. First, it is the most concentrated thing to add surface tension to your fly, which means flotation. The other property that it has, and this is why they sell it in pool stores, is because if you coat your O-rings on your pumps and your filters with silicone grease, it will not penetrate into the O-ring, cause it to swell and fail. So this is a pretty special compound, and I know quite a bit about it because this is the active ingredient in Armor All products, and I've worked on Armor All products. Armor All products, however, because they don't want to give you 100% of this, add detergents so that they can add water, and that will compromise, in my opinion, most of what you're trying to accomplish. So I will just take a little dab. You can see I've got a tiny amount, and I hope this doesn't blur too much. And I gotta look over my phone, and I will just stroke the post. I will keep it off the body of the fly as much as possible. And now that fly will float like a cork. I hope you learned something. I'm gonna reach over here and show you Magic Lube. Now this is a 5-ounce bottle. I think it's or tube, it's like 15 bucks. And because I'm a pool owner, I'm gonna buy the big size. It's gonna last me a long time, but if I was a fly fisherman that didn't own a pool, you can buy a 1 ounce for like $5 or $6. and you will have the perfect floatant, right? Probably for the rest of your life. Now, if you belong to a fly fishing club, buy the 5 ounce. I would say you could give enough out to a dozen guys and they may never need it again. Sorry about the mess. I'm kind of going through things. And why do I have a microwave there? Well, that's for another video. Bye-bye.